So with that, I'm going to let you get to know a bit more about our program, and the best way is to hear from some of our current students. So please join me in welcoming Kenrick Lee, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Starry Craze Technology, and Yumiki Leon, who is the Head of Office Work Injury Rehabilitation for the Office of Human Health. Okay, so we're going to do this in just a sort of a Q&A format. And I'm going to ask both Yumiki and Kenrick to introduce themselves and to share a bit more about their background and why they chose to take the Digital MBA program. So Yumiki, perhaps I can ask you to start, and then we'll go to Kenrick.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. So this is Yumiki. So I have around 17 years of insurance background. So specialized in workers' compensation claims, and I'm currently taking the role of head of office for a pilot rehabilitation program launched by the Hong Kong Labour Department. So mainly, we provide medical service to the injured employees. And about my academic background, so I had a bachelor degrees in criminology and law, and I also got a master's degree in psychology and occupational rehab. And so concurrently, I'm taking this MBA. I'm also doing my PhD in rehabilitation science. Yeah, and so why I take the MBA last year, because I think after I pick up the current role, I want to advance my knowledge on accounting and finance. As you just heard, I only have the science and arts degree, so that's why I want to go to another area of business so that I can better equip myself. And in the end, I chose the Hong Kong UST Digital MBA because it really fit my schedule. And so when you have a full-time job and also with the family burden, so I think that really save my transportation time. And also because the feasibility of this program, as you just heard, you have online courses and face-to-face courses as well. And so I think last year I also took the GNAM week. I think Stephen just shared earlier. So we have a GNAM week in Hong Kong, and the students from other countries also come to Hong Kong together so that you can have a more interactive courses with other students. And I also took the global leadership and governance course held in the campus. So it was really great. And the student is really smart. They have lots of opinions. So it's really enjoying. And so I really like this program. Is the feasibility is quite large, and especially I want to mention. Because Stephen just shared the program is 24 months, right? But actually, me and Kenrick is doing a fast track way. So we are finishing the program in 15 months. Yeah, so the feasibility is quite large for these programs. It allows you to take the courses on your own pace, and I think that really fits the students in different kind of ways, and really have enough support. And also besides study, we had a lot of networking opportunities. For example, the alumni mixed dinner, and also career seminar. And you also have credit to meet of some culture. So I have met Miss Carmen Chiu, and she is a really good culture. So give me a really great advice as well. Yeah, so I think this is my sharing.
All right, thanks, Yumiki. I'm going to follow up with a few of those topics you raised, but let me ask Kenrick to introduce himself and talk a bit about your own personal decision.
Well, it's hard to follow up there. Hi, everybody. I'm Kenrick. I come from Canada, actually. I spent the first 40 years of my life there. My background is in automotive finance and then into regional management. So my degree is in economics at Queen's University many, many years ago. And the reason why I chose HKUST is when I was looking at more of a career change or just something I can do later on in life, I started to look at the global nature of how business is done now. It's not so regionalized and local. And HKUST had a lot of professors, a lot of flexibility. When I joined and started the program, I actually did my first semester all virtual. I was still living and working in Canada. And for me personally, it's been so impactful that I relocated to Hong Kong in June of this year. So just a little bit over half a year ago. It's been a great experience. The network is large and deep, and there's just so much energy that I decided this is where I should be. A little bit personally, because my family is from Hong Kong as well, so I didn't feel there was any culture shock or any kind of a barrier to moving here or making a life. But now that I'm here, I can see that very welcoming to all uh, anybody, any ethnicities, all peoples of the world, right? Because business is done globally right now, and I felt for me it gave me what I wanted in terms of flexibility and the quality of the education and the courses that were being offered. Because UST is quite up to date with what's going on in the world. There's a lot of focus on emerging technologies, emerging trends, a little bit of a foresight, right? We're not so reactive. We can kind of anticipate the changes that are coming, and I wanted to prepare myself and learn more skills to evolve with the business as it goes.
All right. Good. Well, I want to start with the learning experience. And I just received a question in our Q&A related to this as well. So I'd love to hear from both of you in terms of the blended learning experience. How did you make it work? What was it like studying both online and with the live virtual classes? Any tips you would share for people who are considering the program, and just giving them a better sense of that?
I would say the learning is not so different than the full time when you're surrounded by people. But the one tip I would give you is really make sure you set up a comfortable environment where you're free from distraction, you're physically comfortable, and it gives you enough peace and quiet to focus. And it doesn't have to be 4 to 6 hours a day. You only need 30 minutes to an hour maybe to really absorb what you're looking at. The platform is quite nice. If I can give you an analogy, it kind of reminds me kind of like iOS. I mean, it's not there, but it's very simple. It's very polished. All the videos are presented in short, bite-sized pieces. So maybe from anywhere from a minute to five at most. At most, most of them are average, like say 2 or 3. So very easy to absorb what you're learning. Follow up little questions, group discussions, polls. It kind of changes, right? Every session. So you're not doing something stale. You never get so tired of doing the same thing. And then blended when you meet once or twice a week to discuss what you've learned, that's where the real learning starts, right? Everybody comes equipped. Open discussions, learning from your peers is very impactful. To kind of answer the question, the open question, I don't think you need any independent learning skills. I think just having an open mind and just a positive attitude is more than enough. It's not technically hard. There's no barriers to entry for this.
Yeah, I think Kenrick has shared a lot, but I will recommend like the student you should take the initial step to reach out your classmate, and you need to like participate in the class so that like you don't get stressed in the exam, because even this is virtual, like you may think, oh, you just take the courses by yourself, but it's not. Like in this MBA, actually every class we speak a lot. We in the class with the professor, and also offline. You should take the first step to really discuss and communicate. Otherwise, you will like feel maybe so lonely, and also you don't get support from your classmate on your homework. So I would recommend like you have like communication skill as well, and like you just take the first step. Yeah.
Great. And you both kind of talked a bit about the community networking. Can you share a bit more about how you've engaged with some of the events or other networking opportunities, either with classmates or alumni or anything else that you feel like you've done during the program on that networking side?
Okay. So maybe I start first because I think Kenrick is the networking skill is better than me. So because myself is not like a really social person, but how I engage with my classmates, we will have like a WhatsApp group. So we will keep chatting there, and sometimes we will have dinner together. So just don't let yourself like lazy to see your classmate. Even like some of the classmates, they may coming from other countries, but sometimes they will have the business trip. So just join the dinner, and then they just continue the engagement to make sure like that you keep the networking. And the other one is I have like meet with some of the professor regularly. So we will have lunch, and they are really senior and really give me a very good advice. So just say like I say take the first step to have lunch with your professor and talk to them, and just don't let yourself like maybe it's like embarrassing or whatever. Like just try. Yeah.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear, Yumiki, that you've connected with the professors as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
But, Kenrick, any of your experience on this?
Yeah, just to kind of echo Yumiki, because our cohort is digital, not everybody is always in the same place. We're working with a lot of travel going on. Really take that initiative to get to know your own cohort. But beyond that, the school is so welcoming that other cohorts are always at just a arm's call away. I've met a lot of the full-time, the part-time, the bi-weekly cohort has actually surprisingly become a large part of my life now. The professors are and the teaching assistants, the administration office. I think Steven told us before, right? Like we're all equals here. Like we have enough work experience. We're peers. We're here to learn as well. But if you approach everybody as a peer and an individual attitude for learning, everyone's more than happy to help. I've had so much positive engagement. I've been able to network and learn things I never thought possible. Like I've personally achieved just physical milestones I never thought possible because of the network. Like I joined the Gobi Desert Ultra Challenge, right? Like if somebody asked me, do I want to run 110 kilometers, I would ask them, why would I ever want to do that? And now I'm training for it regularly. Through that, you can meet the EMBA, really remarkable group of people, completely different level, I would say, but regardless, they're very friendly and welcoming. There's nobody who has any kind of attitude. It's just a good place to be, right? Like, and former alumni as well. Like, surprising how open and approachable they are. Even if they don't know you, if you just give them a quick introduction on LinkedIn, they're more than happy to meet up, have a coffee chat, or even take a quick Zoom call, right? Like, it's just all over the world. I've talked to alumni from Singapore to Japan to Canada, somewhere in San Francisco. It's just right. The world's your oyster. You got to go crack it.
All right. In terms of balancing the work, and Yumiki, you're finishing the program on an accelerated schedule. Also doing a PhD, and I remember you told me you published an article recently. But how do you can you just share a little bit more on like any tips and tricks on the time management and how you've made it all work with your busy job as well, leading a team?
Yeah, so I think it sounds crazy, right, for everyone. Yeah, but my tips is you need to really have you understand your biological clock first. So you whether you're like a morning person or a night person. So if like for myself, I'm morning person. So I would put the priorities in the morning. So you can understand of yourself and then put some of the important thing on the time zone that you think you can make important decisions. And for example, like online learning, just like Kenrick say, some is really easy, not that difficult. So you can put maybe the time that you really want to have a little bit relaxed. So I would recommend that you really make your the schedule for yourself. So you don't need to copy like your classmate one, because different person have different like style, whatever. So but the third thing is you need to really understand yourself and also have a self-discipline as well. Yeah, because the work is not in the MBA is not really easy. I can say it's tough. Yeah, but it's manageable. Yeah, for example, like me and Cameron, we are doing a Saturday schedule, but it's not that hard that it's impossible. So as long as you have like your own schedule and make it like on the right pace, then you can complete it. Yeah.
Right. And Kenrick, you had mentioned in your introduction that you moved from Canada to Hong Kong, and you were in the automotive industry. And I know you were a senior executive in Canada, and then you've transitioned into tech startup. Tell us about that industry switch. How have you been able to, use what you've been learning in the MBA program to help with that?
So certainly with the MBA program, everybody goes through the core courses. I would say those are the hard skills that's relevant and applicable to almost any business, right? Like things like accounting foundations, corporate finance, and just management skills. The soft skills are actually probably the more important skills for me, being coming from relationship management. So communication, negotiation, further relationship building, refinement. So through that and the networking, actually, when I moved to Hong Kong, I didn't really have a job. I gave myself a timeline. I wanted to really experience, take a sabbatical, be a student, and really engage in learning and as learn as much as I can. But I guess in 2 or 3 months, some alumni, we were just talking, and then I suddenly ended up joining a startup, and here I am doing it with them, right? And through that, I've learned so much just in doing business locally through the Greater Bay Area in China, and then expanding to Southeast Asia, and now also in North America, and it just continues to grow, right? Like I was actually part of the Fortune event in Macau as a vendor, not as a participant. We were in the Taipei Meet Taipei Startup Festival. We've been invited to Shenzhen Greater Bay Area hotel tech conferences. We're part of the NVIDIA Ideation Startup Program, which is really big for us. And we also have through actually outside of UST itself, we can actually partner with other schools too, right? So we're actually part of the CDU Tech 300 startup. So we have some working spaces in Admiralty, and it's just through the networking, through the skills we've gained, and through the alumni, like it's been very helpful and allowed me to explore something I never thought possible, because I always thought I was lacking those skills or the understanding of an industry. And when it really boils down, if you do the basics well, it really allows you to try different things. And I guess the biggest tip for students and in life is to really get out of your comfort zone and try to do hard things, because when you're a student, there's little or no consequences of failing or trying, right? So just take the initiative and engage in the network and the perimeters and the expanses, the networks of the networks, right? Like it's just so deep. You can go down multiple rabbit holes, and you can just go so far with what you can achieve that you didn't think it was possible before.
Great. I'm going to come back to both of you just to get your thoughts on some of the insights or lessons you've gained from the program and some of the advice you might give to prospective students. Before that, I'm just going to quickly answer another question that came through. So there's a question that says, some of the courses have similar names to ones offered at HKUST's undergraduate program. Does the course content differ? Yes, so it is different, right? And you may have picked up on it as Yumiki and Kenrick described their learning experience. But for an MBA program, this is what we call a experienced student program. So every student in the program has significant work experience. And because they have significant work experience, the faculty are able to conduct the classes in a way that is very relevant, practical, bringing in a mix of concepts and theory, but really focusing on the practice of management. And it's at it's more at an executive level of discussion compared to what you might expect in undergraduate, where it's textbook focused and a bit more problem set theoretical for people without that experience. So the course content is very different, and the peers that you're learning with are very different because of their experience. So in a negotiations course, you're going to learn a different type of thing by learning from your classmates as well as the professor. And then there's a question on how does the accelerated program work in DIMBA? How can one choose to do it? It's I'll let Yumiki and Kenrick add anything, but my view as the associate dean and program director is that we try to work closely with students as individuals and provide the academic advice on course selection and pacing of program to help people design the program in a way that fits their needs. But Kenrick or Yumiki, is there anything you would add on that point?
I would say there's nothing technical about it. It really depends on your current life and the load and the responsibilities you have. So for me and Yumiki, we just added 1 or 2 extra courses every semester, and it just worked out. On the contrary, you can take more than 2 years if you want to. Like a couple of our cohorts are so busy with their current professional engagements that they decided to graduate in 2.5 years or even 3 years, right? So it really it's really flexible to tailor to your life and your timeline. And then that's the one thing I would say, just don't feel like it's a competition or you need to be in parallel with anyone. You're really only in competition with yourself.
Yeah, I agree with Kenrick. So depends like your own personal interest and like what's your goal at the time. So just take your own pace. Like yeah, no competition. And I think if you really want to go to accelerate program, sometimes why me and Kenrick can take it is because like we are good friends. So we support each other. So that's why I say don't like be lazy to networking, because if you have a really good group, like good mates together, work together, sometimes even it's not about the speak, it's about the how to learn your knowledge, your technical skill from the courses is really important. But most of the thing is you get support from your classmate, and you understand like the importance of communication with other people as well. Yeah, so that is what I learned. And I think the class may really give me a lot of energy to accelerate the program and together, and yeah, really support together.
Okay, great. Well, let's wrap up this session. I'd like to hear from both of you on just share an insight or lesson that you've gained from the MBA program so far, how it's applied to you professionally or personally, and then what advice would you give to our audience if they're considering the digital MBA program based on your own experience? So, Yumiki, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So one of the course is in the immersion week, that is the managerial communication courses held by Professor Caroline, and I think that really like give me a lot of insight, because every day we need to communicate, right? Especially if I am taking a manager role, I'm leading more than 25 people. So every day you need to make decisions, and also you need to communicate really effectively so that you don't send wrong message. And so the knowledge that I learned from Caroline, I really apply in my workplace, so that to really smooth out the communication day to day in the workplace. And also the other one is I think it's the C-suite. The C-suite course is really good. That was like an intensive course in one weekend. But the most interesting thing is they really give you some challenge like C-suite, so that you need to solve the problem immediately. And it was fun. Yeah, but of course in the weekend you may be panicked, like suddenly the professor will call you and give you a challenge. But however, it really imitate the daily life as a C-suite, so that you can apply the problem solving skill in your work. So I think that is really meaningful. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have the same immersion week courses, Yumiki. The consequential communication was quite impactful, even though it was kind of short. I wish we had a bit more, but it really makes you start to think about the impact of you as an individual, like what you say, what you do, and everything has a consequence. And a consequence is not a bad word. It could be a good consequence, right? And then for me, the second course that compounds on that was actually effective negotiations, which was taught by Professor Brad Bitterly. It was very impactful for me because we went a lot deeper, right? Just to kind of piggyback off Stephen's answer before, it wasn't really textbook elementary. Everything, all the exercises and all the discussions we had were in a more, I guess, like a deeper setting where you understand how business is done, and then how you can better lead your personal lives too, because now you're really thinking about how you're engaging whoever you're negotiating with, whether it be your friends, your spouse, yourself, your inner dialogue, and really being able to understand different positions and different perspectives and increasing your awareness. It really lets you be more efficient and a better rounded leader, and just making win-win scenarios where everybody wins, and together everybody goes further.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you both for sharing. I wish we had more time to go into it, but I do want to stick to our schedule. And I'm sure if any of the audience members, if they had a follow-up question for either of you, they could drop you a note on LinkedIn